Welcome all to the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County. I'm Vanessa Cowie. I'm on the UUTC worship team and today's service coordinator. Thank you for joining us in this sacred place, this community consecrated by our virtual presence and our commitment. We are a welcoming and inclusive congregation. We invite your participation without regard to race, color, age, sex, gender orientation, abilities, politics, or income. We require no creed or particular religious belief. We ask only that you come and bring your goodwill, an open heart, an open mind. To any guests or newcomers we have joining us today, thank you for taking a chance on us, and thank you for taking the time to find us online and join us for worship. And to our members and friends, please continue to use the chat to commune with each other. I have one special announcement today. Reverend Bob has a very special service planned for next Sunday, January 3rd, a Burning Bowl service. Many of you already have in mind one or two things you'd like to leave behind in 2020 and banish from 2021. The Burning Bowl is a ritual around this concept. You write the offending items down and then ceremonially burn the paper. If you need to pick up the magic flash paper, or if you need to drop some off that you already have, the vestibule at the church will be open on Monday and Tuesday from 10 to 7. You can also plan to burn your own paper at home. If you use the flash paper, handle it with caution. It ignites very readily for a flashy flame. Earlier this month, some of us gathered at the fire pit here at UUTC to sing carols many of us know from childhood, although some, like me, were uncertain about the words. I must admit, I shrugged off a handout with the sequence for the 12 days of Christmas, believing that of course I could remember all the verses. No, I couldn't. How many drummers? Dancing, or was it swimmers swimming? What I do remember is that as a child, I thought the 12 days were a countdown to December 25th instead of the days between Christmas and what some Christians celebrate as Epiphany on January 6th. The Epiphany marks the arrival of the Magi, or Magi, as I've learned from Merriam-Webster, it's actually pronounced. The wise ones of We Three Kings fame, and the Magi's encounter with Jesus. When I learned the truth of the 12 days of Christmas in my secular household, I thought it was a wonderful idea. With the holiday extension, there could never be school again until January 7th at the earliest. Talk about an epiphany. Reflecting now, I think what a wonderful way to observe what's probably the world's most celebrated birth, with days of downtime, of time out of time, for mother, father, and infant to fall more deeply in love with each other. Days for guests to travel, bringing camaraderie and gifts. I don't know about frankincense and myrrh. I'm thinking prepared meals and extra diapers. But days to marvel at the new life, to contemplate its potential to grow up and make the world even a little bit more loving, more just, more kind. Please sing along with our call to worship today. We Three Kings of Orient are.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. Field and fountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh. Prayer and praising all are raising, worship God most high. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Myrrh is mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom. Sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in the stone cold tomb. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Born a babe on Bethlehem's plain, cold I bring to crown him again. Love forever, ceasing never, in our hearts to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night.
The word epiphany contains depths. It could be a manifestation of a divine being, or it could be an intuitive grasp of reality, an illuminating discovery or realization, a perception of the essential nature or meaning of something. The three kings have been the colorful subjects of art, music, and drama for centuries. So in this musical service today, their story will provide the metaphorical context for epiphanies. Leonard Bernstein said, "Any great artwork receives and readapts time and space, and the measure of its success is the extent to which it makes you an inhabitant of that world, the extent to which it invites you in and lets you breathe its strange, special air. In that spirit, let's seek epiphanies UUs can celebrate." Now, if we take our story of the Magi and their epiphany from the Bible alone, we don't have a lot to go on. Of the four familiar Gospels that tell the story of Jesus' birth, only Matthew mentions the Magi. And by the way, any quotations I use from Matthew are from the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. The carol we just heard is "We Three Kings of Orient Are," but Matthew doesn't actually say how many there were, and the account doesn't say they're kings. The word Magi refers to a caste of Zoroastrian priests among the ancient Persians, internationally known at the time for their excellence in astronomy and astrology, as well as medicine and natural science. Not rulers at all, they were wise people, sages, the scientists of their time. Matthew is equally vague about where they're from, namely the East, the Orient. 3 specific gifts they bring are mentioned: gold, frankincense, and myrrh, but there may have been others. These wise ones had seen a very unusual star in the east and somehow knew it signaled the birth of the child who was born King of the Jews. The timing is also unclear. Perhaps they saw the star shortly after Jesus' birth. Perhaps it was a year or more afterward. Matthew says they went to ask Herod, who of course considered himself the rightful and only king, if he knew where the baby was. Herod's counselors pointed to Bethlehem, and Herod told the Magi, directing them to return and give him a full report so that he too could worship the child, or so he said. And off went the wise men on camelback across the desert, according to legend. When they arrived, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage, and then presented their rich gifts. Our opening words today are from Sophia Lyon Foz. Foz was a Sunday school teacher, trainer from a very orthodox Christian missionary background. When her first child was born, she had an epiphany. She decided Sunday school lessons at the time, including hers, were not necessarily what children needed for spiritual growth. Instead, she listened to children's questions and needs. She later became a Unitarian and pioneered our UU religious exploration movement. For So the Children Come is printed in our gray hymnal. For so the children come, and so they have been coming, always in the same way they come. Born of the seed of man and woman, no angels herald their beginnings, no prophets predict their future courses, no wise men see a star to show where to find that babe that will save humankind. Yet, each night a child is born is a holy night. Fathers and mothers, sitting beside their children's cribs, feel glory at the sight of a new life beginning. They ask, where and how will this new life end? Or will it ever end? Each night a child is born is a holy night. A time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping. We now move more deeply into our service by lighting our chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. The words that will follow the lighting are by the Reverend Amy Carroll Webb from the UU Association's Worship Web collection online. We light this flame for the art of sacred unknowing. Humbled by all that we cannot fathom at this time, we come into the presence of what we do know, perhaps the only thing we can ever know, that love is now and forever the only answer to everything and everyone in every moment. Perhaps this week you stepped out into the chilly darkness and found Jupiter overlapping Saturn, creating a brilliant focal point these long nights. How many times, in truth, have you found epiphany in nature? Being astronomers, the Magi took notice of that unusual manifestation in their night sky, as we've said. Like UUs, they had investigative minds, and following this remarkable star over the wild and unpopulated miles with none of our modern light pollution, they must also have been awestruck by its beauty. We recognize our Earth as a heavenly body in company with the stars, and in Blue Boat Home, we celebrate our own pilgrimage.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Now is a time in our service for those whose hearts are full of sorrow, of concern, or of joy. We believe joys are magnified and worry and grief eased by sharing them in loving community. I invite you to share your personal passages by using the chat function. I can't read it, but I will light a candle for them. This first candle honors those brave and caring souls who tend us in our life passages, birth, death, sickness, renewal, especially those in healthcare during this pandemic time. And this next one is for those providing other essential services. Here's a candle for those who are anxious about the future or grieving about the past in this time of transition. And for all the individuals, members, friends, and staff of UUTC who have come together to transform this into a welcoming virtual community, I light this candle in joy and gratitude. I light a candle for all the joys and sorrows expressed in the chat. And finally, I light a candle for all the joys too wondrous yet to share and all the sorrows too tender yet to give voice. Let us hold all our brimming hearts in love as we hear winds be still.
Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come, peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in calm let all find tranquility. Bird, fly high, lift our gaze toward distant view, help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far, and lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shine in, illuminate our inward view, help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in new sounds that become full symphony.
Take a moment to center yourself in stillness, in the spirit of prayer, meditation, or simply being quiet in this unique and precious moment. Just breathe. Sometimes all we need for epiphany is a quiet waiting for a return to the warmth of spring, for a birth, for that bold yet tender realization that we are in community with all life on this earth. We are not alone, and as the hymn says, we are not our own. We didn't choose to have a worldwide pandemic this year, but we are choosing what to do with the knowledge. And the Magi didn't expect to be putting their lives on hold while they traveled hundreds of miles. T.S. Eliot's poem, The Journey of the Magi, imagines a sorry journey, a cold coming, the weather sharp, the camels galled, sore-footed, refractory. There were times, the poem's anonymous narrator admits, we regretted the summer palaces, the silken girls bringing sherbet. It took inner resources, perhaps even a keen sense of humor, to make the Magi's pilgrimage to Epiphany. And as this past year has demonstrated, UUs are up to such a task as well. This community and the wider community have known pain, anxiety, suffering, loss. We hold these sorrows, even as we continue to find it in us, occasionally, to smile.
We three kings are 6 feet apart. We'll parallel before we depart. We've been tested and suggested. Careful are we and smart. Oh, do our master with our gowns, do these face shields hide our crowns. We've had plenty, 2020, still we head toward David's town. Melchior is now quarantined, stuck in Persia, so it seems. No more travel on a camel till there's a good vaccine. Oh, do our masks go with our gowns? Do these face shields hide our crowns? We've had plenty, 2020, still we head toward David's town. Balthazar has lost his taste. Eating food is such a waste. How disquieting, now he's dieting. Life now is slower paced. Oh, do our masks go with our gowns? Do these face shields hide our crowns? We've had plenty, 2020, still we head toward David's town. Casper left the caravan. He postponed his stargazing plans. No more roaming, Casper's homing, scrubbing his reddened hands. Oh, still our masks clash with our gowns. Face shields hide our toppled crowns. We've had plenty, 2020, soon we'll head toward David's town.
It's been a year of waiting, hasn't it? It's been a year. What a revelation, an epiphany it has been to realize that staying away from our fellow human beings can be an act of kindness and generosity. From the UUA's worship web, here is UU minister Lynn Ungar's poem, Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, for long as we all shall live. Presumably, the Magi could afford to be generous. They had the means to study and to travel. They traveled far. Scholars estimate 400 to 900 miles or more on camelback, far from their presumably well-furnished homes, allowing their 3 generous gifts to take up valuable space in their saddlebags. Bumping endlessly over hill and valley, did they ever regret bringing presents for the unknown child instead of extra rations, ointment for their sunburn, or another covering to keep out the nighttime chill? Yet they chose the gifts with intention to honor the new life. Even though we are not together physically in the sanctuary and are not passing collection baskets hand to hand, and even though these times are difficult for many of us, we must also remember generosity. This community and our mission to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice exist only through our contributions of time, talent, and treasure.
We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along.
What of the Magi's own beliefs? Zoroastrianism has encompassed different beliefs within its long history. Also, these sages were scientists, remember. Can we infer from their willingness to investigate, to explore, to entertain the notion of a new order, that they were open-minded? Perhaps you've had epiphanies listening to Krista Tippett's public radio program on being. In her book, Becoming Wise, An Inquiry into the Mystery and Art of Living, she says, don't think of one God, one truth, one way. Think of one God creating this extraordinary number of ways. We have come from many religions and no religion to end up here, Unitarian Universalists and friends. The living tradition we share flows not from just one book, not from just one source. And what is religion anyway? Here's one Unitarian epiphany on religion from our gray hymnal. It's by Vincent B. Silliman, who had been a minister for 62 years at his death in 1979. It's called simply Religion. Let religion be to us life and joy. Let it be a voice of renewing challenge to the best we have and may be. Let it be a call to generous action. Let religion be to us a dissatisfaction with things that are, which bids us serve more eagerly the true and right. Let it be the sorrow that opens for us the way of sympathy, understanding, and service to suffering humanity. Let religion be to us the wonder and lure of that which is only partly known and understood. An eye that glories in nature's majesty and beauty, and a heart that rejoices in deeds of kindness and of courage. Let religion be to us security and serenity, because of its truth and beauty, and because of the enduring worth and power of the loyalties it engenders. Let it be to us hope and purpose and a discovering of opportunities to express our best through daily tasks. Religion uniting us with all that is admirable in human beings everywhere, holding before our eyes a prospect of the better life for humankind, which each may help to make actual.
Bring many names, beautiful and good, celebrate in parable and story, holiness and glory, living, loving God. Hail and Hosanna, bring many names. Strong Mother God, working night and day, planning all the wonders of creation, setting each equation, genius at play. Hail and Hosanna, strong Mother God. Warm Father God, hugging every child, feeling all the strains of human living, caring and forgiving, till we're reconciled. Hail and Hosanna, warm Father God. Oh, making God, gray with endless care, calmly piercing evil's new disguises, glad of new surprises, wiser than despair. Hail and Hosanna, oh, making God. Young, growing God, eager still to know quick to be delighted, singing as you go. Hail and Hosanna, young growing God, great living God, never fully known. Joyful darkness far beyond our seeing, closer yet than breathing, everlasting home. Hail and Hosanna, great living God.
And finally, what did the Magi think when they finally saw the child they made pilgrimage to honor? Perhaps they had children whom they missed and longed for and hoped would grow up in a kinder world than their own. As they gazed at the baby, like them, a stranger in a strange land, cradled by his mother and father, but hated and feared by his country's king, did the Magi suddenly realize their part and commit themselves to greater justice and compassion in their world?
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for its soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
When the sages turned toward home again, hearts full of hope, Matthew says they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod. Heeding the dream, they chose not to follow Herod's order. Instead, they left for their own country by a different road. What was it in that dream that made their uneasy feelings about King Herod coalesce into resistance, passive though it was? They didn't know the part of the story where Joseph also had a dream in which an angel told him to flee to Egypt because Herod intended to destroy their child. That came later. But there must have been something in the king's manner that made the Magi want to protect the defenseless child, if only by default. They followed their own intuition, and they chose compassion.
Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est, congregavit nos in unum Christi amor. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est, congregavit nos in unum Christi amor, Christi amor. Exultemus et in ipso iucundemus, timeamus et amemus Deum vivum. Exultemus et in ipso iucundemus, timeamus et amemus Deum vivum. Timeamus et amemus Deum vivum. Deum vivum. Et excorde diligamus nos in caelo. Et excorde diligamus nos in caelo. Ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est, congregavit nos in unum Christi amor, Christi
And so we close with the Latin words, Ubi caritas et amor, Deus ibi est. What fitting words for our closing Epiphany, where there are compassion and love, there God is. May it be so.
Holy God sertet, o sertet, o beke, o dodosh, o dichten, o zikshek Where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is blessing. Where there is blessing, there is God. Where there is God, there is no need. Holy is faith, O sertet,